Welcome, everyone. My name is Coach David, and today I am here with Ivy League Admission Secrets, part of College Admission Secrets, to give you guys a little information on the best Ivy for your major and how to get in. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the different, the different colleges, right? The Ivy League schools today. We're going to focus on just the Ivy Leagues, not the Ivy Plus today, right? Because there's just so many already, right? And there's a lot of slides to get through, so hopefully I can get through all of them in our short time together here. I'm also going to be talking about what they value the most and, again, what you should be doing in order to kind of appeal to that particular school. Okay, so it is July 25th. It is 6 p.m., right? We are rearing and ready to go. So let's get into it without further ado. Okay, before we jump in, I do want to introduce the hosts, right? Now, for the last 2 weeks, you guys have been able to have me, Coach David, right? I went to the Claremont colleges in Southern California. I went to law school afterwards, and I worked as an attorney. I was an undergraduate and law school admissions reader. I also have been working in the college admissions space for about 15 years. I've been able to save families millions of dollars on college expenses as well in the financial aid category. And I've had students in at every Ivy and every Ivy Plus school that you can think of, right? And hopefully now it is your students' turn to succeed, okay? My co-host is Coach Tony, right? And so he will be back next week. He is the founder of College Admission Secrets, right? He was accepted to UCLA and UCI, but he ended up going to UC Berkeley, right? He had full rides at both. He went to Berkeley. His reason that he always tells me is that he wanted to get a little further away from home, right? Once he graduated from there, he worked as a UC Berkeley admissions reader. He worked at UCLA. He also founded his own charter high school, was TikTok's educational partner, and he's also been helping families for the past 15 years, okay? So, Ivy success stories. We've had a lot of them, right, in the last couple years, even, right? But over the last 15 years of me helping, I've had students in at multiple of these, multiple Ivy Leagues, right? I've had multiple students in at Ivy Leagues each year, right? But there is a right fit for each student, right? We have students in at Caltech, right? We have students in at Rice. We have students in at Emory, at Stanford, at Columbia, Cornell, right? We have students in everywhere, right? Now, in this session, like I told you, we are going to kind of go over which Ivy League schools are best for your particular major, right? And also, what should you focus on as you attack each school, okay? It's very important. While these schools are all elite, they're all kind of the same in that they are elite institutions, right? They're very different in what they hold to be the most important thing to them, okay? So as we move forward here, right, the first thing that we're going to talk about is majors, okay? Now, how are we going to break this down? I want to explain it to you because I know I'm going to have families that say, oh, well, you didn't talk about my major, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do that, right? For the purposes of this exercise, we will use a very simple method. We are going to look into each of the schools and what they're most well known for, right? So again, hopefully your major is on that list, but if it's not, right, then you can kind of infer, or you can definitely ask during the Q&A about your specific major, right? I know I'm not going to be able to cover every single major. There's just too many of them. At any one given UC, or not UC, at any one given Ivy League, there are at least 200 different majors that you could do during your time there, right? Now, I will say this. Every single one of the Ivy League colleges is great at almost everything, right? It's just that I'm going to be highlighting their strongest areas today, okay? So without further ado, I'm going to jump straight into it, okay? So I'm going to start with Harvard, okay? There is no like which one is better or this or that. It's just a list. I just started listing them out in my brain, and this is the way that they came out. But Harvard, these are the majors that they're most well known for: economics, business, political science, international relationships, or international relations, and government and public policy. Okay. Now, obviously, the most famous person that has probably gone to Harvard is probably Zuckerberg, right? Now, as you see, computer science is not one of the things that is on here, right? Harvard isn't very well known for computer science per se. Okay. Now, am I saying that it's bad there? No. Computer science is still a strong major there. The Ivy Leagues are strong colleges in general, but these are the ones that they are most well known for. Okay. Let's move on to Yale. Okay. Yale, again, very strong across the board, but very strong in political science, drama and music, and history. Okay. Now, a lot of you guys might have been thinking, oh, well, that's kind of like, something that I didn't expect, drama and music, right? But one of the things that you need to remember is that these Ivy League schools have been around for a long time, right? The arts are something that they're very, very in tune with, right? And so drama and music at Yale is not a surprise to me, but might be a surprise to other folks, okay? Let's talk about Princeton. They are the strongest in public and international affairs, engineering, economics, and mathematics. That is what they are known for, okay? We have Columbia, okay? They are very well known for journalism, international relations, business, and engineering. We have UPenn. They are very well known, right? Again, they have the Wharton School for business. Nursing is a very strong major there. Political science and engineering. At Dartmouth, right? We have business, we have government, environmental studies, and liberal arts, okay? At Brown, English and literary arts, mathematics, computer science, and public health. And finally, at Cornell, right, engineering, hotel administration, agriculture and life sciences, and architecture, okay? Now, these are the majors that are strongest at the schools at the Ivy League schools, right? Again, I'm not saying that these are the only good majors. I'm saying that these are the most well-known of the majors at each individual Ivy League school, okay? Now, what are some of the takeaways here, right? The takeaways that families should be taking from this is that each college has their strengths and weaknesses, right? They are not good at every single thing, right? They're okay at most things, right? And they're stellar at some things, but they're not exceptional at every single thing, right? Just like us humans, right? We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. The colleges do as well, right? So more than looking at the ranking, look at the strength of the program you're entering, right? Now, again, I'm not really a person that looks at the rankings too much, but I have to look at them because a lot of our families are looking at the rankings and deciding on their college lists, right? It doesn't matter if it's number 1 or number 10, okay? What matters is how well do you fit in, right? How much, like, what is your program and how strong is it at that school, right? So make sure that you're targeting the school that really fits you, right? And what we'll do is we'll actually kind of take a look and see what they're all about, what you can do to kind of get a little bit more on their radar, okay? Now, before we do that, I want to have a quick word from our sponsors, and we have 2 sponsors. Now, you probably heard me say this last week too, but something has changed a little bit, and here is what has changed, okay? Now, last week, I came back to you guys saying, hey, college application intensive, we still have one location left if you guys want to come, right? It was in Ontario, California. Unfortunately, we are completely sold out, right? There are no spots available, okay? So instead of that, what I can offer you from College Admission Secrets is our college essay service for the class of 2025, right? If your student is lacking direction, they don't know how to start their essays, they're stuck, right? Contact us today so that we can help your student finish their essays, okay? Now, our essay service is an asynchronous service, right? Your student turns in their essays, we look at them, we leave comments, and we also record a video of what needs to get changed or what needs to be focused on so that the student's essay is the strongest that it can be, okay? If you have questions about it, please text essay to 415-938-8721, and our team will make sure that you get the information you need to get your student the help they need, okay? Now, our other sponsor is Financial Aid Secrets, right? Now, my first question to all families is, do you want to pay full price for college? If your answer is no, then sign up for a consultation, right? One of the biggest things I also hear is, oh, our family makes a little bit too much, right, to get financial aid. This is the family that needs to sign up, okay? Because most likely you are mistaken in what you are thinking, right? So again, for our college essay service, text essay to 415-938-8721. For our financial aid secrets, I will be putting the link in the chat at the end, along with our kind of assessment link. And so you guys can have those links and sign up for those consultations after this call, okay? Now, let's get back to the training here, right? And so the next part of this is how to attack each Ivy. Now, one thing I haven't said today is this, right? If you do have questions, please put them in the Q&A or in the chat, right? I know that a lot of people are shy, so you can put in the Q&A. No one else is going to see it, right? Or you can put it in the chat via the host and panelists kind of setting so that only I can see it, okay? I'm not going to read names. I'm just going to go ahead and read your question and then give you an answer, okay? But let's go back to about how to attack each Ivy, okay? This is very important. And the reason why it's important is this. One of the things that colleges, especially the Ivy Leagues and Ivy Plus schools, really do look at is what or how does the student's own kind of like personality, principles, values, and morals, how do they align with our own? And do they fit into our campus community, right? Now, a lot of people are like, well, that's a very subjective thing. And yes, it is, right? But that's what they're looking for, okay? So let's look at what you need to be doing on each of these kind of schools, right? Harvard, what they are looking for is leadership and impact, right? Harvard places a strong emphasis on applicants who have demonstrated significant leadership and made a notable impact in their communities. Now, what does that mean you should do? You should focus on leadership. Make sure that you are creating an impact. Now, my what should you do's might seem very, very, very easy, okay? But you need to understand what these things mean, right? So when it says focus on leadership, it doesn't say get a bunch of titles, right? One of the things that I've told students over and over again, I've been having a lot of meetings with students, like talking about their 4-year plan and kind of what we're going to do and all these different things. The one thing that I always bring up is that just having a title does not mean you're a leader, okay? When you're a leader, no one really needs to question whether you were or not, because the impact of what you have done shows that you were a leader in that situation. Okay, so you need to focus on leadership, but not just titles. You can be the president of this club at your school, that club at your school, but if all your club is doing is getting together at lunchtime, eating lunch together, and then everyone goes their separate ways, what has your club actually done? Unfortunately, not much, right? So it's about focusing on the actual active leadership and then creating an impact in the communities that you're a part of. That's what needs to be focused on here. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Yale. One of the real big things that they look at are your personal essays and your diversity of experiences. Now, if they're looking at your personal essays and they're looking for diversity of experiences, they are looking for reflective essays that reveal an applicant's personality and diverse personal experiences. They want people from different backgrounds, from different perspectives to add to their campus community. What should you do? This is what I say. Stray away from the norm. Pave your own path and show Yale you are ready for the adventure, okay? So if everyone at your school takes AP Bio in 10th grade and you took AP Bio, right? And then everyone took this class and you took the exact same class and you did this and you did that every other kid at your school did, is Yale gonna think that you are ready for any type of adventure? No, you're just someone that follows. I'm not saying that you're not smart. I'm not saying that you're not, ready. Not sure exactly what happened, but I'm re-recording now. But the one thing that I do kind of say is, again, find your own path, whether it's following your own interests or it's, or if you find like a personal thing that you really find that is interesting for you, those are the things that you should be doing. Okay. All right. Let's get to the next page. Princeton. Princeton looks for personal integrity and community involvement. Okay. Princeton looks for students with strong moral character and a deep commitment to community service, right? Now, what are we looking for here? Personal integrity, right? Now, that depending on how you interpret that, that could be very different, right? But the second part, commitment to community service, well, that's very easy to understand. So it says, so my kind of what should you do is focus on your community, define it well, and make sure you show them that you are involved and engaged. Okay, that is what you want to do for Princeton. Okay, again, it's not about having titles. It's not about how many hours you have spent, right? For students that are really involved in their community, they don't care how many hours they're getting, right? So if you're counting the hours of the thing that you're doing, maybe it's not necessarily the best thing to be doing, because if you really cared about it, it wouldn't matter how many hours that they give you. Okay, so it's about staying involved. It's about staying engaged. Okay, Columbia. So Columbia is a school that is very, very connected to its roots in New York, right? So urban engagement and intellectual vitality, this is what they're looking for. And so Columbia seeks students who are eager to engage with the resources of New York City and who demonstrate a passion for learning and ideas. What should you do? Columbia is asking you to show passion in your subject area. It's not just about classes. It is true interest. Now, one of the things that we talk about with our students is that you need to show colleges that you love learning, okay? Columbia is one of the schools that wants to see that. How are you able to do that? It's not just about taking classes in high school. You need to go above and beyond to show them that you really are passionate about learning. Taking extra classes at community college, at an online high school, going to a research program focused in your area of study. These are all different ways that you're showing that you are truly passionate about your interest area. Okay, UPenn. UPenn is a school that has a lot of majors that are very, very niche. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is this: they have a special program for like technology and management. They have other programs that blend engineering and other areas, right? So they are very about interdisciplinary interest and innovation. They want to be a campus where change is happening. Okay. So Penn values students with a strong interest in interdisciplinary learning, innovation, and entrepreneurship, right? So what should you do? You need to show them that you're not a one-trick pony, okay? Focus on the periphery to see how you can connect your interests with your academics, right? So let's say that you're really interested in business, but what you actually really want to do is kind of computer science or engineering. Well, show them that you can blend those two things together. That's what UPenn is looking for in a student. They're not looking for a student that's going down one path. They want to see the connection of all the different things that can be put together. Okay. We have Dartmouth, okay? Dartmouth is in a very kind of remote area, okay? My friend actually was driving back to school, going back to Dartmouth, and one of the things that actually happened with her is that she ran into a moose, okay? Her car was totaled. The moose got up and walked away like nothing happened, okay? So it's in a little bit more of a remote area, but that's why they focus on community, okay? They also really like students that have outdoor enthusiasm. Okay, so Dartmouth emphasizes a sense of community and looks for students who appreciate and engage in community activities. For them, their campus is a little bit smaller. They want their campus to be cohesive, right? So what should you do, right? In order to kind of appeal to Dartmouth, be involved in your school community. Become a leader that changes your school, changes your larger community. Again, leader is a word that is thrown around a lot, right? But true leaders, they're very few, right? Titles are not leadership. Titles are literally just letters. That's it. Okay. To be a leader, you have to be that person that exemplifies the values that your club, your organization, whatever it is, values. Okay. Brown, right? So they are looking for students that fit with the open curriculum and are socially engaged, right? So Brown values students who thrive in an open curriculum environment and are committed to social justice and community involvement, right? What should you do? Here it is. Think about issues that impact you. How can you create a change? Okay. So a lot of students, when I ask them about why they want to study a certain major, or maybe for a personal project, I ask them what issues do they see in their community that they want to change. A lot of students are just blank, right? And the reason why they're blank is because they really haven't thought about those questions before, right? A lot of students, especially in our program, they might not have thought about, okay, well, what are the issues that are facing my larger community that need to get fixed, or that need someone to kind of be a voice for them, right? But if your student is kind of in 9th, 10th, 11th grade, well, even if you're in 12th grade, this is something you should be thinking about, right? Because who knows what you can do with it in the time that you have left before applications. Okay. Cornell, right? They're looking for students that have particularity in what they want to study and also have unique perspectives, right? Cornell is looking for students whose interests align with specific programs and who bring diverse perspectives to campus community. What should you do? Think about how your experiences and how they will fit into your time at Cornell. Everything that you have done up till now, has it been leading in a particular direction, right? If that's it, then that's probably Cornell. If you have been taking biology classes ever since you were in 4th grade and doing like dissections on your own and like going to different research things and doing this and doing that, you are kind of the student that Cornell is looking for. They're looking for a student that is very particular in a certain area, right? But again, they also want those unique perspectives, right? Now, those unique perspectives can come from a combination of different interests, right? Or they come from the experiences that you've had as you've gone through high school, okay? So let's talk about it again here. So takeaways, right? The Ivy League colleges are looking for more than grades. a lot of kind of people that reach out to us, they're like, oh yeah, my kid has a 4.6, you know, he got a 1580 on the SAT, so he should be good for Columbia. And I'm like, sorry, no, right? They aren't, right? You need to remember that every year at the Ivy Leagues, 95% of students that have straight A's, 15 APs, 18 APs, 20 APs, 1600 on their SAT, they're all rejected, right? They're looking for more, right? They're looking for students that can tell us about their character, about their personality, experiences, values, how they're going to fit into each school. It's not about the grades. Yeah, to a certain extent, you have to have, you know, if you have straight C's, you're not going to the Ivy League schools, right? But if you're above a certain mark, then it's kind of like, okay, well, now you're eligible, right? Now you're kind of there, you're in range, right? These other things are the things that matter to those colleges, okay? All right, so at this point, right, that was a lot of information. I'm sure you guys are hungry for more. Every week, we're going to come back and try to give you as much information as possible. But I also do want to invite our families here today to work with us, right? Now, what does that look like? I'm going to share a little bit about our coaching program, what it looks like, right? I'm also going to kind of tell you, like, you know, hey, here are the different steps that you'll go through. If you're interested in working with us, we can definitely move forward, right? Now, our coaching program, it helps with everything: college selection, career exploration, major strategy, selecting your classes, dual enrollment, outside course requirements, right? Selecting activities, a personal project, finding internships, research, right? Applications, it's unlimited. We don't kind of nickel and dime you like other programs. We literally get unlimited application support, unlimited essay revisions, right? And you're also going to be able to come to our college app intensive, right? As far as support, you get a customized roadmap. There's weekly and monthly check-ins. There's daily coaching, right? Office hours, right? And you have lifetime access. It doesn't matter if you start in 6th grade or if you start in 10th grade, 11th grade, or 12th grade. Okay. So what I'm going to ask our parents to do in here, our families in here to do, is sign up for our consultations, right? The first one I'm going to do here is our financial aid, right? So if you're worried about the cost of college, please reach out to us. I'm sure I can help. Now, for those that are interested in our coaching program, what I'm going to do here is also put in the link for our assessment call, okay? Now, during this call, you can't buy anything, okay? We're literally gonna like talk about your student, what the goals are, right? We're gonna say, here are some kind of things that we're seeing that are maybe not exactly where we would want them to be, or things that we need to catch up on, right? And then we go ahead and tell you, hey, here are the things that we feel like we can help you on, right? And here are some kind of like suggestions for you, right? And if you like what you hear, then you can go ahead and go on to an enrollment call where we can tell you about the different programs we have and make sure that you get the right one that fits you. Okay. All right. So we are kind of at the end now. We are on the Q&A section. I do see that there's a couple questions in the Q&A already, right? So I will answer those questions. But before we do, one more time, the links are in the chat. There's a financial aid link. There's also an assessment link, right? If you want a free assessment from our team, right? So go ahead and sign up for those, right? Also, if you're interested in our college essay service, please text essay to 415-938-8721, okay? So let's go ahead and move into kind of Q&A time, right? And then make sure that we are kind of, answering all the questions that we have, right? So either in the Q&A or in the chat, please ask your questions. I'll start with the ones we already have, and then we'll go on from there, okay? So the first question I have here is, which colleges are well known for biology majors? Okay, so biology majors or health science majors, like whatever you want to end up calling them, right? Harvard is a school that is very well known for its health sciences. Okay, but every single school for biology is very well known. Now, one of the schools that popped up as like being the most well known is Cornell. Okay, Cornell for agricultural or life sciences. Now, the reason why it says agricultural there is because there are some history there with Cornell being a school very closely related to agriculture, right? But not so much anymore. But if you actually look, it also said life sciences, okay? So Harvard is a very good one for life sciences, right? So is Cornell, okay? We have another question here. It says, for UPenn, when you said having a wide range of interests, were you saying that for that school, it would help having a wide range of classes and extracurriculars not relating to your major? So it's not necessarily that you have things that are not related to your major, but it's that you have multiple interests in different majors that you've somehow brought together, right? So maybe you have an interest in life science, but you also have an interest in kind of like tech, and you also have an interest in business. And one of the things that you did was create kind of like a startup that works on like bionic arms, right? And getting them into the hands of people that really need them. That links three different interests together, right? So it's not that they can just be scattered, right? It's that somehow you find a way to bring everything together, right? So having multiple interests is great. But the question is, how is everything brought together under kind of like you, right? You are that kind of connecting factor, right? So they want to see that you are one of those connecting factors. Okay. All right. So if there are additional questions, please ask. It can be about anything we talked about today. Maybe it's something we talked about last week, or it could also be something that you're wondering about that wasn't talked about today, right? Literally anything and everything is a topic of discussion that we can talk about. Okay. So I'm not seeing any movement in the chat or in the Q&A. So I am going to do last call. Okay. So last call, right? And then we'll kind of make sure that we are ready to go, right? We have a couple questions here that popped up right when I said that. So a follow-up to my previous question, would it be good to talk about how they connect in the Common App essay? It could be, right? So it depends on how it connects, right? But again, every college is different. So maybe you do that in a UPenn supplemental instead of doing that in the Common App main essay, because in the Common App main essay, it should be more about who you are, okay? Who am I? That is the question you want answered in the Common App essay, okay? We have a question here and it says, is the essay help hourly? No, it is not on an hourly basis. It's on a monthly basis, right? So again, just like all of our other programs, it's unlimited support during that time, right? For our college essay service, it is a 72-hour turnaround time. And so basically, if you turn something in, we'll get it back to you in 72 hours, right? You can turn in one thing, two things, three things, right? But it'll take 72 hours for us to get back to you, okay? We have a question here, and it says, for Asian Americans, do you feel it is necessary to do certain things to stand out? No, I don't, right? Because here's the issue, or here's the thing. No one knows you're Asian American, okay? Unless you tell them, or unless there is something that tells them specifically that you are, they cannot assume anything, okay? And your race is not a factor used in the admissions process, right? There was just like a Supreme Court decision that overturned affirmative action, right? So, but California has already been doing that for a long time, right? So I am very proud to say that some of our UCs are in that kind of top 20, top 30 category, right? At the UCs, they haven't looked at race in a long time, but there are certain things that come up that tell a reader that you are. If you talk about it in your essay, now they can use it as a piece to either kind of like, again, push you forward or, kind of be like, oh, I'm not sure, right? So if you talk about it in an essay, now you have revealed it to them. They can use it however they want. If you never reveal it to them, there's no way they know that you're Asian American. You're literally a barcode, right? Now, that demographic information that you turn in when you kind of like are like doing the Common App or the UC app or any kind of different kind of app, that is actually for the admissions office to know, oh, who's applying to our school and to have that data, right? It's not actually information that goes to the reader that's reading your application. Okay. All right, we have other questions here. It says, aside from Penn, what Ivy has a strong finance program? That's a good question, right? So Wharton is obviously one of the kind of big ones there. Cornell also has the Dyson School of Business, and they're very strong in business as well. So I would probably say those two are probably the strongest out of the two. Okay. We have another question here, and it says, I'm a rising 10th grader. I want to go into the aerospace field. What programs, internships, volunteering opportunities should I do to boost my chance of getting into that field? So, well, here's the thing. There is no exact answer, right? We have to figure out what you're good at, what you're not good at, and then go on from there, right? So maybe you're really good at the mathematics of aerospace, right? But you're not really good at, different coding pieces or building things, right? So then that might shift what we're looking at, right? So as far as programs, Aerospace is a very, very specific field, right? I know of some students that have gone to NASA programs or NASA affiliated programs, right? Or Boeing internships or this or that, right? They're very hard to get into. So we're gonna have to start preparing now, making sure, just like how you have to make sure that you are on target for a certain kind of like Ivy League school, we have to make sure that you're on target for the type of student that Boeing wants to pick, that NASA wants to pick, so that we can make sure that everything goes smoothly. Okay. But and I do know that if you're a 10th grader, you have a little bit more time, but this next summer is going to be very critical for you, right? So we need to make sure to find the right programs that interest you. I don't want you to go to a program just because of a name. Okay. The name is irrelevant to me, right? And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I worked at NASA, and I asked them, what did you actually do? And like, oh yeah, well, I just followed people around. And I'm like, so then what did you actually do at NASA? And the answer is nothing. Okay. So the one thing that I will say about internships, about research, about volunteering, all these different things, you have to think about what you're doing. If what you are doing is not really relevant to what you want it to mean, then we need to find a different opportunity for you. Okay. And the one thing I will say about internships is they should be hands-on, where you are using the skills that you have in order to do something for whatever that place is. Okay. Shadowing is not an internship. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for the questions, right? Seems like the question kind of bank has again dried now, right? But again, one last time, if you are interested in the college essay service, please text essay to 415-938-8721. If you are interested in our programs, right, you can go ahead and book an assessment call with us, which I just put into the chat there. And if you are interested in a financial aid consultation, right, go ahead and book a financial aid consultation with this link here. Okay. Now, Coach Tony will be back next week with some more exciting news, right? But I hope that our advisors are able to talk to a lot of families, make sure that you are on the right path. Okay. Now, all of the information that we gave today, right? I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work because my recording stopped in the middle, right? But at least half of it will be available. So if you have friends or family that want to learn a little bit more about kind of the Ivy League schools and what they're all about, please let them know to join our Facebook group, right? Or they can reach out to us for an assessment call if you're already one of our coaching families. Okay. So with that, I'm going to let everyone go, right? If you guys do have additional questions, just please make sure to reach out to us in Discord, by email, Facebook Messenger, whatever way you can get a hold of us, get a hold of us so that we can help answer your questions. Okay. So sorry for the little mishap in the middle, right? The recording stopped. Hopefully the rest of the recording is still okay. And I will talk to you guys soon in a couple weeks. Okay. So have fun with Coach Tony next week. Everyone stay out of the heat, and then we will talk to you guys again soon. Okay. All right. Everyone have a great night, and I will talk to you again in a couple weeks. Everyone have a good night. Good evening. Bye-bye.